And I know there also are a lot of criticisms of Russell Westbrook's game. He is a guy that, like last night, can go 10 for 30. He is a guy that will struggle shooting. But the Rockets knew what they were doing when they got him. They've had all these versions of Rockets teams before, and this is the guy that won't quit. Now, if you watch the game, he still kept playing till the final buzzer. That's his DNA, right? I don't like the fact that the Rockets were not aggressive out of the double team. They were not aggressive. This is a very flawed team, but typically this is a very fearless team. So the fact that Russell Westbrook had a poor shooting night, that should not surprise anyone. He's historically a 30% shooter, right? Shooting 24% from three this year. That's not a surprise. The surprise I had was the lack of sense of urgency that they had against the Warriors. James Harden sort of just drew two and kicked it and said, you guys play 4-on-3 and make something happen. Nothing happened besides Russell Westbrook trying to force the issue. Now, again, I will still be optimistic. This is their last chance for me. They're really trying me. I'll be optimistic and say this was just a one game. You know, the Warriors went bah humbug for the holidays, right? I will be optimistic in the sense that with Russell Westbrook, we can talk about his lack of shooting, right? With Russell Westbrook, the Rockets last year were 27th in pace. This year, they're third. That's changed when Brody walked through the door. They've got guys that push it on possessions, and typically they play fearlessly. They don't give up. Just as likely as they are to give you 10 and 30, right, 10 and 30 field goal percentage, they can also give you 20 and 30. So another night, like leading into this stretch, they were having great offensive. They were top 3 in offensive efficiency. They still are. It just was a very bad night for the Houston Rockets, but I'm going to give them one pass.
Well, I'm going to say this, Janae. I like your Rockets. I'm from Houston as well, born in Galveston, like Rachel just said.
Pointed out during the break.
Pointed out during the break. But this is the problem that I have. And Darrell Ray Williams, I want you to open your ears to this. Until they diversify their offense, they're going to be an exciting team to watch in the regular season, and that's it. Because come playoff time, like Steve Kerr did last night, because he's a championship coach, okay? He put a defense in where I'm not going to let James Harden play, okay? I'm going to make everybody else do what they do. If you can make shots, you can make shots. But I'm counting that if I take away the 39.8 or 40 points a game that James Harden is going to give me, I have a chance to win. And that's what Golden State did last night.
Yeah, listen, I gotta agree. I just think that it's just too top heavy with James Harden and what he does to the table, what he brings to the table. Look, we saw what the Golden State Warriors did, and James Harden mentioned it, how they trapped him early to get the ball out of his hands. We know with Russell Westbrook, he's not an efficient player. He's going to take a lot of shots. Okay, they don't have Eric Gordon back. I think getting Eric Gordon back is going to help their offense some, because he's a guy that can get his own shot and he can hit three-pointers. But when you look at some of the other pieces, Clint Capella, I thought Clint Capella would be advancing his game kind of like Pascal Siakam, has advanced his game with the Toronto Raptors. PJ Tucker, where's PJ Tucker at? So this team with the Houston Rockets, it seems like when they get to a certain point, when things get confusing on offense, let's just dump it to James Harden and let's just clear out and let James Harden go to work. That's not the form. They've been going off of that formula now for a couple years. It hasn't gotten them anywhere, and I continue to see that it's going to be the same. They're going to do the same thing moving along the rest of the season, because they don't really have anything outside of James Harden.
Yeah, the difference, though, is that it's been the shooting. Everyone's critical of the shooting, right? Like, we'll see who can step up on the perimeter. Eric Gordon coming back is absolutely going to be a boost. Now, I know they do need to have more of a team-oriented, team type of basketball philosophy, but Eric Gordon coming back, career, 16 points per game, 37% three-point shooter, that will allow Russell Westbrook to take a little of the pressure off of having to force the ball. But the reason why I think Russell Westbrook forces the shots is because he's looking to his left and he's looking to his right, and he's seeing teammates lack the confidence to make plays, right? Russell Westbrook can make plays. Not many point guards in this league are dominant point guards that can also rebound the ball. But most importantly, if there's the biggest criticism of the Rockets, it's that they quit or at least give up or have too many struggles in the playoffs. And largely that's because they're too dependent on James. There's no such thing as too dependent on James Harden. He gets better each and every year. I almost think that we normalize how great he is. And he was efficient yesterday. It's just that they didn't have the playmakers. But when they bring their shooter back, Eric Gordon, who's very soon to return, I think those playmakers will be able to make better plays knowing that they have better shooters on the perimeter.
And I'm okay with that, Chiney, but my problem is this, okay? If you have Russell Westbrook out there, he's an MVP caliber player, okay? You're making him into a shooting guard. That's not his position. I mean, I'm okay with him shooting the threes or whatever. If he's making them, if he's not making them, he's going to do more things on the offensive end to negate the fact that he's not making shots. But Mike D'Antoni, you can't turn him into a shooting guard. He's shooting 20% or less from the three-point line. I'm saying get some side-to-side movement. I'm not saying go away from what you do with James Harden and the ISOs and the pick and roll with Capella when you got him. I'm not saying go totally away from it, but add a little bit more to your package.
Everyone went nuclear. Everyone sort of flip-flops, but I'm consistent. I know y'all all claim Texas, but I'm consistent, okay? Everyone was going nuclear early in the season when the Rockets' defense was struggling. I kept telling people, guess what? When they start knocking down shots, that means that not only will the opponents be getting, like, they had a free reign. Rockets miss, and they're starting their offense in transition from the three-point line. And the Rockets cannot defend, especially when they're missing shots. Now, when they make shots, you take it out of bounds, and then they can set up their defense. Eric Gordon is going to make shots. He will, period. James Harden will shoot the ball more typically than Russell Westbrook, period. So when the Rockets play to that blueprint, they have a better chance at making shots, they have a better chance of setting up their defense, and they have a better chance at competing. I still have the Rockets as sleepers, but Lord, hear me, please. This is the final pass I will give to my team.
Does Eric Gordon coming back get you to the NBA Finals?
I don't think anyone expected them to be in the NBA Finals, but I think they can make it to the semifinals and make some noise. So I'm keeping it realistic still.
Tillman
Wow.
Fertitta's not looking for a second-round exit. He's looking for championships.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.